Hi guys, this video will walk you through the Calculating Your Break-Even and Maximum Profit spreadsheet from the Furniture Flipping 101 program's Business Management course, Planning Your Business module. If you are not enrolled in the Furniture Flipping 101 program, you can do these calculations without the spreadsheet by using the formulas as shown. The link to enroll in the program is in the description below. You will need to enter data suited to your business and its limitations to use this spreadsheet. To get an accurate result, use real-world figures to do your business plan's financial analysis. Take the time to look up the monthly fixed cost and estimate as accurately as you can the variable cost per piece. Let's look at the workbook and how to enter your data. The cells highlighted in yellow are your input cells. The first thing you need to do is come up with an arbitrary markup percentage. You can play with this number once you've entered more data and see how the percentage affects the calculations. This markup, once determined, will be used in the upcoming Inventory and Pricing module's Cost of Goods Sold workbook as a guideline for pricing. See the corresponding video on how to use those workbooks. The point here isn't to have a perfect number off the bat, but to play with it and see how your markup affects your maximum profit per month. Enter a value for now. I use 250%. The markup multiplied by the sum of the variable cost per item will give you the selling price. Enter your fixed monthly expenses in the Fixed Monthly Expenses table. The ones here are examples, and you may have different expenses. Use this list to decide on what accounts you use for those expenses in your chart of accounts. See the upcoming chart of accounts video in the bookkeeping module. Next, in the variable cost table, enter your average variable costs for a piece of furniture that you often produce, such as a dresser, table, or smaller items like end tables and nightstands. While input costs vary widely, depending on the piece and the design, the amounts should reflect your average input costs. We will look at these costs and categories in greater detail in the upcoming inventory and bookkeeping modules. You can use the Cost of Goods Sold workbook included in the Business Management course's Inventory and Pricing module to work through some of your previous prices to get an average. And if you're just starting out, you can estimate an average piece of furniture. The more accurate you are, the more accurate your calculations will be. A startup cost table is included here, not to calculate the maximum profit per month or break-even point, but as a reminder that there will be one-time startup expenses. If you like, you can average those expenses over a year by dividing the total by 12 and entering them as a line item in the Fixed Monthly Expenses table. Your constraints are crucial considerations. If you can only produce a few pieces of furniture a month or have limited storage space, you need to enter that here. Knowing your constraints helps you plan your business better. By recognizing your limitations, you can either make adjustments to improve them or adjust your pricing to offset them. Once you've listed your constraints, find the greatest limiting factor. In this example, the maximum production capacity is the most limiting factor. I have entered 6 in the constraint box. If your greatest limiting factor is time, say you only work evenings or weekends, then you will need to determine the maximum number of pieces you can produce a month, taking that time limitation into consideration. The constraint must be a number of pieces produced, stored, or sold per month, not hours. The constraint is multiplied by variable costs and selling price in the calculations. Once you have entered the data and filled in the markup and constraint box, your selling price, maximum profit, and maximum revenue per month will calculate. You will need to do some algebra to calculate your break-even point. It's very basic algebra. You're solving for x. To simplify the equation, you take the negative fixed costs over to the right, which makes them positive, and subtract your variable costs from your selling price. In this example, that is 400x minus 160x, which gives you 240x. 240x is equal to 375. Then divide 375 by 240, and this solves for x, and x equals 1.56. But because you cannot sell a partial piece of furniture, your break-even point is 2 pieces, sold at that selling price with those variable costs. The purpose of determining your break-even point is to understand how many pieces of furniture you will need to produce and sell each month to cover your expenses. Adjusting your markup and expenses can increase or decrease your break-even point. The purpose of these calculations will become more apparent as you operate your business and recognize how your fixed and variable expenses affect your bottom line. The economy of scale, which is how the more pieces you produce, the less you need to make per piece, becomes evident. Many furniture flippers do not have the luxury of selling many pieces, so the profit margin becomes more critical. Reducing your input costs and overhead expenses helps increase your profits. Keeping a close eye on the actual numbers and their effect will help you make better business decisions. That brings this video to a close. If you have any questions on how to use this spreadsheet or the calculations, let me know in the comments below or message me on the course website. See you in class!